Oh, what have you been playing? What's been going on the channel?
Been playing a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah.
I okay. I had a take on that game yesterday. Let's talk about your take of Texas Chain. Are you playing solo? Are you playing with buds?
Mostly. I mean, you can't play with friends right now.
Oh,
There's
really?
like
You just
no
queue in?
actual matchmaking.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay. Let me pull up some footage
Yep.
of it. I guess you've been enjoying it then. If you've repeat
Yeah,
playings, yeah.
I've been loving it. Been having a good time with it.
Is
It's like Dead by Daylight. It's obviously heavily influenced, but at the same time, it's doing enough differently to be, for me, pretty enjoyable. Having a good time.
all right. So my take of this, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because this is an outsider's take. I have not played this game or the games like it. Is this
Okay.
just like the reskin thing that they've done for like Friday the 13th and like all those games of the same ilk, basically?
But here's a good way to think about it. Uh, Dead by Daylight essentially started a new genre.
Okay. Sure.
Um, it's a terrible name, but let's just call them DVD likes, right?
Okay.
Like it's basically a DVD like. So Friday the 13th was one of those. There have been others as well. And this is a similar take where it is survivors versus killers, in this case, three of them. And generally the survivors are trying to escape or basically that's it. And the killers are trying to kill them or incapacitate them. So this is one of those. Absolutely. This one is doing some fun things as with there are multiple killers. Each one has like specific abilities. The survivors all have specific abilities as well that help them survive. But it's a good take on it in terms of it works pretty well. There's not a lot of bugs, especially for a pre-alpha test. It runs pretty well as well. The levels are kind of interesting. It is very gory. So I mean, this is definitely one of the more, I'd say, kind of gory ones.
Okay.
Also based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so a lot of people I think that's just a win in
Yeah, that
general.
makes sense.
But
Yeah.
no, it works pretty well, and it's got the way that it presents the balanced aspects of it to like how the survivors can escape from the killers and how the killers can track down the survivors. They work pretty well. We haven't yet seen the skill trees or the loadout, so balance is you can't really at all comment on balance or anything like that yet. But no, overall, I have been really enjoying it. Overall, it's been fun,
Okay.
and yeah, I've had a good time with it.
So the skill tree wise, the everyone's getting skill trees or just the survive. I don't know the
Yes,
terms. Just
I believe
survivors. Is that how you?
survivors and I think they call them family and victims or something like that.
Okay.
So
On
yeah, in this
brand.
case,
Great.
I'm pretty sure everyone is getting skill trees and loadouts, but we don't have them yet.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean that'll add a lot to the game, essentially metagame and whatnot.
Oh, this
Um,
poor guy.
you just oh you
Man, it's
Yeah.
real dark. Is that just me?
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Not only is it real dark, it absolutely is supposed to. In fact, survivors hiding in the dark from the family is a huge thing. But also the grass and stuff. It's really easy to hide in grass and stuff versus
let
the
me see if I
killers.
can find
I've had a
some.
really good time as survivor, like avoiding people by just running out a door and like jetting into the grass and crouching down and having them literally run
Ooh.
back and forth in front of me looking for me, not able to find it. So
Are there
it's yeah, it's fun.
are there multiple maps? Is that what we're seeing? Like was that a all enclosed map and this is an outdoor map?
There was one map,
Oh,
and
it's
it
one map.
was the house map. And then when they did the update, I want to say yesterday morning, they just threw in a second map, which is
Oh.
the slaughterhouse. So
Oh,
there are
okay.
currently two maps, and then there's randomization inside the maps as well. So they're like the generators are not always in the same place. Items you get aren't always in the same place. Car batteries and things like that. So
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Is this open for anyone? You said it was an alpha test, right? So how
I
do you
think you
get
have to
into it?
apply to it. There
Okay.
was a streamer thing. They sent out a bunch to streamers. I noticed I was playing with a whole lot of streamers and YouTubers the first couple days, but I think they opened it up since then. You could like apply on either their web page or the Steam page or something. And a lot of folks seemingly have been getting in since then.
Got it. What do you prefer? Family or what victims? What did you say?
I like them both.
Okay.
I will say that the family works significantly better if there are comms because they're one of the members of the family. His name is Cook, and he is slow. He doesn't hit hard, and he doesn't have a lot of stamina. but he can hear and track people from far away. If that person is not talking to the rest of his team because there's no way for him to flag when he finds these people, then it's like playing a completely different game. So I think the game either needs like some kind of pinging system, or it needs better in-game mechanics for killers to be able to work with each other, while not necessarily talking over voice.
Got it.
So that's been kind of big. For victims, it's kind of the same thing. Like sometimes you have victims that really work well together, and they can like go do two things at once to split the killers, and then both pick one and get out, kind of thing. But no, I mean they've both been really enjoyable. I find myself queuing up for either more often than one of them.
Cool. A lot of people playing. I see there's a waiting for players thing here. Is it just because there's not that many?
Hard to
folks?
say if there's a lot of people playing. It's a very
Is
closed
this on Steam?
pre-alpha,
I wonder
so-
if you could just look up.
It is, but I think you have to apply to play it, and then not everyone has been getting in. So
Oh, they're being
it's hard to
restricted,
say
okay.
if there's like a lot of people playing it or not.
Cool. Have they said when this is like scheduled to come out?
I want to say it comes out in August or something.
Okay.
It's supposed to come out, I believe, this year. So it was doing pretty well considering, but I think we still got a little bit of time to go.
Zeke, what were you gonna ask?
A couple of people from my chat asked me to ask you about Grandpa.
Yeah. So the way that it works is the killers collect blood. The family, they collect blood. Every time they hit an enemy, they get blood. If they kill someone, they get a bunch of blood. There's a max amount of blood they can hold. And what they do is they go and feed it to this decrepit old grandpa, like half alive thing. And the grandpa sits in this chair and screams. And as the grandpa gets levels from giving blood to him, he screams more often, and he sees the other players in more situations from that scream. So whenever the grandpa screams, all the players, all the victims have to stop moving. And if they move while he's screaming, then all the killers will see a yellow outline around them regardless of where they are. And if the grandpa's level gets all the way up, and whenever he screams, the killers just always see where the players are. Like whenever he yells, like every minute or so. So it's an interesting mechanic to make it so players can't like super grief the killers by just running around, because eventually if the killers are giving the grandpa blood, which they should be, it's one of the main mechanics, they will be able to see where the players are at all times, eventually.
Huh. Okay. I guess we just saw that then.
Yeah. At the very beginning of the game, grandpa's asleep, and the victims have to make enough noise to wake him up. And the basement is pretty much where everyone starts with the chainsaw guy. And to get out of the basement, you generally need to lockpick a big metal door. There's usually like 3 to 5 metal doors. And when a player opens the metal door, it makes enough noise to wake up the grandpa. So basically, he's like a mechanic that starts when the victims are starting to make progress.
Sounds like a real cheery game, like super lighthearted.
It's
and,
not. No, it's very gory, and especially the slaughterhouse level is like very gory.
Yeah.
Lot of blood, lot of torture, that kind of thing.
They need
So you're
to-
saying there's no
Pretty
voice, VoIP or whatever it's called in this? Yeah.
Oh, there absolutely is. There's voiceover.
There
Yeah,
is.
there's absolutely voice. Yep. All
Okay,
of the
so-
survivors hear each other wherever they are, and all the killers hear
Okay.
each other wherever they are. There's no like.
Oh, you were saying if
proximity
someone
kind of stuff.
doesn't, like when you're talking about the cook, you're saying if someone doesn't take advantage of the
If somebody
voice.
has their comms, yeah, with the cook, some people just turn off
Gotcha.
the voice over IP. Or I had a bug, and the only way I could get my voice over IP working was if I started Steam as an admin.
Oh God. Okay.
Super weird. And thanks again to chat for pegging that one, because I never would have. But yeah, so I had to run Steam as an admin, and until then, I couldn't hear anyone and no one could hear me. So it makes me wonder whenever I see someone not on comms, like if they're having the same issue. Because comms really, really helps in this game.
Yeah.
So the win conditions for this game are kill all the survivors, or kill all the victims, or the victims escape.
Escape.
Is that
Got
okay.
it? That's it.
All of the chat was saying these are asymmetrical multiplayers, for another terminology of this style of game. Are all of the asymmetrical multiplayer games like horror themed? Is there any like, Diablo
was
cow
Evolve.
level? Oh yeah, I guess there was Evolve. Yeah,
And there are other Evolve style games.
yeah. I guess those never. I mean, it found an audience, but then it
None
didn't
of
find an
them have
audience.
been like super super popular outside of like Prop Hunt. But I mean, that's a
Even
little
then,
different.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
kind of content creator focused. Yeah. Predator Hunting Grounds. Yeah, I guess Dead by Daylight is probably the one at the forefront.
That was the one that kind of made. That's the one that made Friday the 13th. This game is clearly heavily influenced by it. There's been a couple other minor
Evil
ones,
Dead.
I think, here and there. Evil Dead, absolutely. So
Yeah.
you know, that all kind of sprung from DBD.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, August 13th, I think.
There you go.
August 18th, sorry, is when this fully comes out. Later this year for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When does that alpha end? Is it already over? Or is it in
I think it
Monday?
ends tonight at 12.
Okay.
So I'm playing Bolt Gun tomorrow.
Oh, nice. I've heard great things about that.